Good morning. I am Steve Weber, and welcome to the American Gumption Morning Show on Thursday, February 11th, 2021. And today is show number 125. 125 is kind of an even number, right? It 2 times 125 is 250, times 2 is 400 or 500. 500. So we're a quarter of the way to 500, and we're an eighth of the way to 1,000. So we're just rolling right ahead. So anyway, show number 125. No guest today. Going to be a short show, abbreviated show. I'm going to guess 20 minutes. So we'll get in and we'll get out of here. But let me tell you and my monologue is titled Surrender. So that is what my monologue today is going to be. And I'll just get to that in a moment. Let me tell you about what's happening tomorrow and then next week, and tease those a little bit. And then we'll just jump into surrender, and then I'll surrender and get out of here on a Thursday for show number 125. All right. So tomorrow, Dory Morales joins us. Dory is the publisher of Green Living magazine, and it's their tagline is conscious living. So we are all about conscious living here at the American Gumption Morning Show, and on Spirituality Gone Wild, we're all about conscious living, creating a better human experience for everyone. And specifically, Dory and Green Living magazine are committed to helping people live a more eco-friendly, conscious lifestyle. So that's going to be a fun conversation. That ties in with a lot of the things we're doing and being aware, and but in their case, focusing on the awareness of the environment and the our homes, our spaces, our places, where we live and how we live. So that'll be she'll tell us all about what Green Living magazine is up to. All right, so that's tomorrow. Now, Monday, there is no live show. I will be going away with Brother Ken and Trisha for the weekend up to the Pocono Mountains. I'll be returning on Monday, so I'm gonna get out of town for a couple days, and cold up there, but there's firewood and a fireplace, so we'll keep warm. So no live show on Monday on President's Day. Now, Tuesday, Sylvia LaFair joins us. She is the author of the book Gutsy. And I heard Sylvia interviewed recently, and she talked about gutsy, and I really like that idea and that topic. And it takes gumption to be gutsy. So we'll have a nice conversation. She also has a new course, a little mini course that you can sign up and take, and it's called Stress Mastery Masterclass. It's about stress. If you feel like you're a little bit stressed out, then this would be something that would be good for you. So we'll have that conversation on Tuesday, and we'll talk about gutsy too, I think. Tuesday. So that's Tuesday, Sylvia LaFair. Wednesday, Rebecca Glensky Copage. She is a young lady. I just got to know her just a week or so ago, and she is the author of a brand new book called 100 Days to Self-Love. 100 Days to Self-Love. And so that'll be on Wednesday. We'll discuss her ideas around that. Thursday, we start a brand new regular every other week segment, and it's the Serenity Sam Sing a Song by Serenity Sam. So she'll be joining us for about a 15-minute segment, and then we'll have probably have a guest after that for the last half hour. That's the plan. So anyway, that's Serenity Sam, her first of what will become a regular. We're going to try it for a couple of months, and we'll see. We'll try it for the rest of February and March, and then we'll see if it's working. But anyway, she's going to join us, and that's going to happen next Thursday be the second 15 minutes of the show. Monologue, Serenity Sam, and then guest afterwards. Alrighty, and then Friday to be announced next week. We don't have a guest scheduled, but I do have a lot of guests lining up, and it's exciting. I'm getting real momentum that way, and I'm really starting to be able to better define, who a good guest is and what I want to talk about and what I would like my guests to share. And so it's not like we're trying to force people to come on and talk about things that that they don't want to talk about. It's like we're finding people that are in alignment with the conversations that represent what American gumption is all about. So that's exciting, and the guests will just keep on coming. Well, if we have guests, we do 4 to 5 shows a week, and we always have 3 to 4 guests each week. That's an okay thing. Now today, surrender is the topic of my monologue. And I didn't have a guest, and I kind of, I surrendered, and I thought, what, I've been, the guests take a lot of good energy, to be ready and to do it, to have the show. And so anyway, I don't feel like I need to have a guest every day, but it's nice to, keep them coming on a regular basis, at least, like I said, at least 3 out of the 4 or 4 out of the 5 days, minimum, we want to have a guest. But, if we have one show every week or 2 that we don't have a guest, that's perfectly fine. So I'm surrendering to that idea. Now, this is a kind of a follow-up on yesterday's topic with Don Lynch. The show with Don lasted an hour and a half. That's the first time I've ever done that, but it was just rolling along, and I was having a good time. I don't know whether it was, whether it was good broadcasting or not, but I was enjoying it, and I was learning a lot. And one of the things that I decided when I started doing this is that I wanted to interview interesting people, and I wanted to interview people that I could learn from. And I really surrendered to just being the student yesterday. And as we were going along, I just felt like, let's just keep the show rolling, and we'll wrap it up, or we'll just continue with it and let Don kind of took over the show, and that's cool. And it was a good time. So, but some of the things what I'm going to talk about is really inspired by what happened yesterday as a follow-up. So if you missed yesterday's show, you'll have to go back and watch that and understand it. And when I conclude, I'll talk a little bit more about how I might, proceed with that too, in terms of maybe re-editing part of it and incorporating some of the ideas that I'm going to talk about today. So today is sort of just like a practice run in terms of just like throwing out ideas and sharing what's going on. So thank you, Bettina, joining us from Seattle, and Chan is also, where am I from? Well, I'm living in Pennsylvania, so I'm not sure where you're from, but I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much. All righty. So anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the surrender. So yesterday's show, Don asked me to surrender, and what does that mean, surrender? For me, it means connecting to source, or God, however you want to refer to it. But Christianity always talked about that. I'm raised in the Catholic religion. You turn over your challenges to God. The Bible gives all kinds of references to give up, let God, help you surrender, to that. So for me, it's really kind of connecting to source is what I'm wanting to say, as far as when I refer to surrender today, that's what I'm talking about. And in the 12-step program, they talk about higher powers, a power greater than ourselves. And they talk about surrendering and letting the challenge that you have be in someone, be in sources, be in higher powers field of domain of responsibility, and you just surrender to it. So as Don was coaching me in the last 45 minutes of the show, maybe even the last hour, we kind of talked about his story for a while, and he was very gracious with that. But then he wanted to go into doing what he likes to do, and that's this energy clearing so really what he was trying to do with me was do an energy clearing, and he was like looking and viewing me and seeing and he refers to it as a big old bag of water. He said that a couple times. All the human body is like, all this liquid. A bag of water is the way he refers to it. And then he sees somehow all these electrical connections going through the body, and he can see where energy is being blocked and bottlenecked or not flowing freely. And so in a perfect scenario, the body is has all of this water and all this electrical connections running through each other, and there's no blockages. But like in any kind of in a transistor or in some kind of a microcircuit, if a particular line of energy gets blocked, then the whole thing can back up and go some other direction, and sometimes it overloads and blows a circuit type of thing. And they think about the human body doing something similar. So this is my understanding of the work that Don's doing. So if we're going to be connected to source energy, in this case, he was asking me to do that. He was actually looking at circuits that were exiting from my body, and he was attempting to clear those passages, and he calls them a plasma is the word he uses. And I even asked him about it, and he said, well, there's not, that's the human language I'm using, but anyway, he has this connection. So imagine source being just outside of us, outside of me, and then connecting to that. And there's these energy fields that exist outside of my body, and there's blockages in those things. And he was trying to clear those. He was very graciously trying to clear them. I was being a little stubborn, and he tried 2 or 3 times to get it going, and I wasn't necessarily surrendering and allowing that to pass through. And he's like saying, well, what are you feeling? What are you feeling? And it was a hard thing for me to describe what I was feeling. In some cases it was like, I'm not feeling anything, but you make up something because you don't want to act silly and sound like you're not seeing anything. But I really, I wasn't sure what I was seeing. And so anyway, talked about the ego being the blockage that gets in the way of that. And so anyway, so I was thinking about it afterwards. The ego's job is to protect the body, the physical, right? The ego wants to protect this body, this physical thing, and also the mind, the brain, because we think the ego likes to think that it's that brain and that whole, it's like ego is like very much like not connected to source, not connected to other people. Ego is like that, that individual thing, that lone wolf thing that I've talked about. So in my case, from what I heard Don saying, the ego was the blocking. So I'm thinking about that. Again, this is after the show because I, in the moment, I'm not sure what I was thinking about. I was just trying to, keep up with it all. And it got me thinking afterwards. Don Lynch, Angie, LaRue, both of my guests in the last couple of weeks, both doing kind of an energy clearing thing, though different in their technique. But let's just say that, for the big picture, they kind of are doing something similar and the work. And they both of them talked about having this massive radical awakening. Don talked about his 3 near-death experiences in the water. He's diving and, he got himself in trouble. And he said he's a slow learner. So it did it 3 different times. And, his wife was mad at him for, hey, you're going to kill yourself out there. And so anyway, as a result of those experiences, he had his own massive radical awakening. And both of them spoke about their ego being crushed. So I'm thinking about that. I'm trying to surrender my ego. I'm trying to get the blockages out. But in my case, when Don's working with me yesterday, he's trying to protect that ego, or he's trying to clear it out. And my ego is like kind of in the blockage of doing it. And he's like, he tried 2 or 3 times and, I was like, I had the brakes on it and it wasn't happening. So anyway, they both said that the ego was crushed in their radical awakening, and they both said something similar, and I'm kind of paraphrasing it and lumping it together, but they both said they don't recommend the radical awakening and the ego being completely crushed. I think Don's words were shredded. The ego was shredded, and in Angie's case, it was like a complete, like brought to your knees surrender kind of thing, like the massive cosmic 2x4 whack is what she taught. God smack is what, her words. So anyway, my experience hasn't been radical like that. I haven't had any kind of a near death experience where like I had this massive awakening. I've been on this 10-year journey of kind of like lots of little moments and lots of aha moments, but if you compare them to the radical awakening, my awakenings have been like kind of like small little bursts, kind of slow and steady, with a little bit of time and space to kind of acknowledge them and become aware of it and process what was happening in each of those cases. So again, my experience, slow and steady. No radical moments, no near-death experiences. So here I am sitting there yesterday during the show, and I'm wanting to trust, and I'm wanting to like let down my guard, and yet it wasn't happening. And I could almost sense that Don was like a little bit frustrated, that like he was like, "Come on, man." He didn't. My words, not his. He's like, "Come on, dude. Let's just let it go. And I'm like, I'm trying to let it go, but I'm not letting it go. And so anyway, the ego is standing in the way. Again, this is what I was processing yesterday while it was happening live. And then I had this commentary is sort of with a little bit of perspective and looking back on it. So here's the good news. I've obviously making some progress, because in the olden days, I didn't even have a lot of clarity about what source was. I was trying to figure that out. And at least now I have a lot better understanding of what source is, certainly what I would have called, what I was trained to think of as God and Christianity. And now it's sort of evolved into this, universe, quantum field level. So who do you trust? Well, that's who I'm trusting. Okay, I'm going to surrender that. And Don said to me yesterday, I can see you're connected to source, but you're like, there's a blockage in the way. So it was like, okay, good. progress. I'm connected. I'm just, not letting that circuitry, flow freely. There's a blockage there. And he's saying what it is, the ego is standing in the way. And I'm much more aware of what the ego is. My writing the last, 10 years has certainly helped me with that. And, Don said yesterday, don't use the word I when you speak, and it's not me. And that is really difficult to do. So I've been aware of that. And so at least I'm aware, I'm working through it. So how do you proceed with this? How do you make it, how do you break that, blockages down? And, I did communicate with, Angie last evening, by message, and she gave me a little bit of ideas. And so anyway, this is sort of the coaching I received, and meditation. I've been meditating for the last couple of years. It's been a slow journey in learning to do that, and learning to, kind of like get into it and surrender into, that blank mind, or that, where you're just sort of an observer, as opposed to, the monkey brain, rattling away, chattering nonstop. So it's getting better. I'm getting better at it. Don't know that I think I still have opportunity to improve with it. But here's what Angie specifically said. Your thoughts can be like a movie, and they begin to move or play in front of you. And if you can achieve that surrender state, you're not like thinking those thoughts. You're just watching the thoughts come in and play by. And she said it becomes quite interesting to be able to sit back and just watch all the thoughts. And again, not have a lot of judgment about what they are and being attached to them as if they're your own thoughts, but rather these are the connection to that higher power, that source, and they're coming through and watching. So this is the goal in my meditation, as I took that from her, and specifically, they're not your thoughts. She said they're not your thoughts. They're thoughts from the universe or source energy, and you just become a witness to them. So you're just watching those thoughts come about. And I can learn to observe them without judgment. I'm kind of repeating myself with it, but looking at my notes. So looking back at yesterday's conversation, ego was the block. Ego wants to protect my body or my mind. And, how do I let that go and let that down? And it's real interesting because I've talked a lot about trusting and not wanting to trust and putting up the barricades. And so these are all tied together. These ideas are all tied together. Don suggested I go back and watch the recording from yesterday. I have not done that yet, but he was saying that, he says, he goes, if you go back and watch this, you'll be able to see yourself fighting it, because somehow he was trying to describe that, like you're wanting, I have to go back and watch it, but it was like my body was like wanting to relax into it, but my mind was protecting. And he says that, I can see that's what you're doing. So we'll have to go back and do that. And like I said, I have not done that yet. So, he said you're a big bag of water. That was he said it a couple times, at least twice, maybe 3 times. And again, this is the way he has the ability to see people. And so he looks at, just imagine he's just looking at the body and he's just seeing this like massive water. He's calling it a big bag of water. But there's all these electrical circuits that run through it. And he can see where the circuits are flowing freely and where there's blockages. And don't ask me how he does that, but this is the ability that he has learned from and been able to accomplish. I'm going to wrap up just by, I wasn't sure how to wrap this up because there's more work to do. And I think if I go back and look at that recording, as he said, I think I can combine some of these thoughts that I'm sharing with you today with what I maybe will see there, and maybe there'll be more story, and maybe I'll do some editing of that and be able to talk about it. I don't know what's going to happen, so we won't make any judgment on that. We'll just throw that out there as a learning opportunity for me. But I'll wrap up by just saying, why am I grateful? Gratitude is an important. Debbie G is a big gratitude person. Lots of people talk about gratitude. If you have a happy heart, you're going to, life is just going to be so much easier. So here's just a kind of looks like there's 9 different things I wrote down that I'm grateful for. So first of all, I'm grateful for the fact that I have access to people like Don Lynch and Angie LaRue. This is truly a gift that I've been, the fact that I have been able to meet these kinds of people and work with them and get coaching from them. I am extremely grateful for that. I'm grateful that I have the ability to learn about myself and being given these ideas and tools, to continue, my own awakening, my own personal self-development. So grateful for that. So grateful for the fact that I have access to what these leaders, these teachers, and then the tools that I'm getting from it. So those are number 1 and 2. I'm grateful that I get to come here to this show every day, not every day, but 4 or 5 times a week. And I get to have this little platform to share some of my ideas and thinking. And when I started the show, I was only talking about the types of things that I had been thinking about for the 10 years previous, in terms of, they were like kind of my stories that I had tested and talked about and felt confident in talking about. Today is a pretty good example of me just showing up and trying something new and experimenting with it and going with it. And so I'm grateful that I have that opportunity on a regular basis. I'm grateful for Spirituality Gone Wild and the fact that they've given me, this broader network to continue to learn and do self-development work myself, and then, have access to the people that the community brings to me. So grateful for Spirituality Gone Wild. I'm grateful that I've been in a safe place during this last year, staying with my sister and brother-in-law, and people have been concerned and worried and feared for their safety, and I have not had that fear for my own safety, physical safety, during this last year. So I've been the fact that I haven't had to worry about my safety has allowed me to have a lot of creativity and go forward with this work that we're really creating together here, creating it with the Spirituality Gone Wild co-creators and you, the audience, and individually with myself and with my guest. So that's really what it's all about. And that creative side, grateful that creative side has really been able to flourish in this last year for me. I'm grateful that as I continue to reach out to people from my past and to brand new people, I'm gaining a confidence and an ability to connect with people on a level that I've never been able to connect with people before. Again, brand new people, just jumping right in and connecting with them. People from my past, able to connect with them and talk about things that was not able to talk about in the past. So this is an exciting time for the evolution of the conversations that we're having. So very grateful for that. Clarity and new experiences and new learning. I'm grateful for all three of those things. So the clarity that is coming from doing this show on a regular basis, the new experiences and the new learning that I get to enjoy, each day from guests or just from like today, where it's just sort of a, experimental monologue where we're trying stuff. And then finally, last one is creation of a better human experience. And that ties in with Spirituality Gone Wild's mission. The goal of what myself and the other co-creators are all doing is we're trying to create a better human experience. So people who are aware and want to continue developing their own awareness of their, their thinking and their living this physical life, then you're at the right place if that's something that's attractive to you. And I'm grateful to be part of that. So, and it's certainly helping my own human experience. Alrighty, so that's really it. We have Jedediah, the shadow sheds its skin for the new skin to begin. Yes, absolutely. That's what's happening. The day was a shedding of a skin layer, and the new skin grows. And it was really as a result of what I learned yesterday from Don Lynch. And my friend Saf Bucks, he checks in. Hey, brother, how you doing, man? Thank you for being part of the show here. Cultural shock. Affirmative action can't deny your own rule. I is affirmative action can't deny your own rule. Yeah, that ego thing. So thank you, Jedediah. Thank you very much. All right. And here's an anonymous user said it helped me so much. Thank you. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't, it's like you show up and like, you're trying day in and day out. That's all we can do. We can all just come in here and try every day. And that's what the American Gumption morning show is all about. That's what Gumption's all about, is waking up every day and just trying something new. And I'm really grateful that I get to try this, brand new every day. And, a lot of new people I'm meeting because of this, and that is really exciting, and it's really stretching me. And I got to hide in Montana for about a 10-year period, and I was in a safe place there, but I wasn't stretching myself. And now I'm in a safe place, but I am stretching myself. And then, of course, we're going to go out on the road, and we're going to travel about the country in an RV for the next, 4 to 7 years. And we're going to take this show on the road, and we're going to meet a lot of people, and we're going to have a studio inside the RV, and we're going to take the American Gumption show in conjunction with Spirituality Gone Wild. And we're going to travel around, and we're going to meet people, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. And we're going to continue the learning, and we're going to continue to enhance the human experience. Alrighty, that is it. We'll wrap it up. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out for how long? Oh gosh, 30 minutes. Oh boy, I always talk longer than I I estimate that I will. So I felt like I was repeating myself. If I didn't repeat myself today, I could have kept it that original 20 minutes. All right, let's wrap up tomorrow. Dory Morales on Friday, tomorrow, publisher of Green Living magazine. No live show on Monday. Sylvia LaFair, the author of Gutsy, and she's going to talk about her stress mastery masterclass. So if you're feeling stress, you'll want to listen on Tuesday. Sylvia LaFair. On Wednesday, Rebecca Glensky Kopich is the author of 100 Days to Self-Love, and surrendering is a lot about self-love too. So we'll tie those together. And then Thursday, we start our brand new bi-weekly segment, Sing a Song by Serenity Sam, and she'll join us for the second 15 minutes of the show on Thursday next week, and then every other Thursday after that. And then I tentatively have a guest coming for the second half hour. Not confirmed it, can't say anything. Friday, no guest scheduled yet, but we'll make something happen next Friday. So again, tomorrow, Dory Morales, publisher of Green Living magazine, and then no show on Monday, but then live shows Tuesday through Friday next week. Alrighty, that's it, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. I will see you tomorrow with Dory Morales. Have a great day, everybody.